College in computer networking. He currently holds his CompTIA, A+, and MCSA certifications with 7 years of experience in IT with Turner Industries, and 4 of those years, which have been in management. He is a member of the ABC Pelican Chapter's Emerging Leaders Group, the Form 35 Baton Rouge Business Developmental Group, and currently sits on the Economic Developmental Board for the City of Central's Chamber of Commerce. In February, Blake left Turner Industries Group to start an electrical contracting and cabling company with his father, Tommy Linxwiler, whom is also a graduate of ITI Technical College, and he's seated to your far right in the front row. Thank you for being with us. In their first year of business, they accrued over $700,000 in revenue, and the company has grown to 15 employees and 7 service trucks. He currently is a father of a beautiful 1-year-old girl, Presley Ray, and is married to his lovely wife, Jamie Linxwiler. Please welcome Mr. Blank Linxwiler.
It's not made for abnormally tall people. Sorry about that. All right. Friends, parents, faculty, and class of 2015, I'm as honored as I am unqualified to be speaker at your ceremony. Congratulations, you made it. It only cost you a few $1,000s. Countless hours of sleep, and for most of you, 2 years of days and nights that blended together from carrying a full-time job and a full-time course load. While your friends enjoyed their month-long holidays and summer breaks at state school, you spent yours studying logic gates, learning about the 7 layers of the OSI model, or maybe even educating yourself about cooling towers. You made a commitment to better yourself, and despite being at the brink of your sanity at times, you finished the grind of countless courses and classwork, which is no small feat. So let's give another round of applause to our graduates. About 7 years ago, I sat in the same seat you're sitting in and wore the same cap and gown and probably thought a lot of the same thoughts that go through your mind as most of you have right now. Where will I get my first job? How much money will I make? How long will it take me to make my first million? What color Bentley will I buy? Well, let me see. How many shots of tequila are my buddies going to buy me to celebrate tonight? And for those of you that have a smidge of ADD like me, the other random questions jumbled in there like, why in the world are we all dressed in these outfits that make us look like some sort of medieval pastry chefs? A couple months ago, whenever ITI reached out to me and asked me to speak, I decided to treat this task with the same tenacity and diligence as most of you do a term paper. So last night I drank a couple Red Bulls, played some Call of Duty, caught a late episode of SportsCenter, and opened up my laptop and prayed for an epiphany. ITI is near and dear to my family. As she said earlier, I'm a second-generation ITI graduate. My father attended school here in 1987 and graduated from the instrumentation program. After graduation, he was immediately hired by Georgia Pacific, where he worked for nearly 20 years till opening his own contracting firm in 2005. More impressive than that, he also starred in one of ITI's famous TV commercials. I don't even have to ask, I know that each of you have seen these commercials, and ironically enough, it's one of these commercials that sparked my interest in ITI. All joking aside, my decision to come to ITI was one of the single most important decisions I've ever made. In 2005, I graduated from Central High School with a top scholarship and very little motivation to apply myself at a collegiate level. I went straight to a university where I majored in sleeping late, PlayStation, and partying. I can vividly remember an 8 a.m. music appreciation course that I took in my first semester. Unfortunately, the 2 times that I actually woke up and attended that class, it wasn't that interesting. The state of Louisiana frowned upon my use of their scholarship money, and in 2006 I found myself back home working for the family business. I was sitting in my living room one day watching LSU play a football game when a commercial came on, and there was this chipper man named Joe Martin on my TV. I'll never forget what he said in that commercial. It was like he was talking directly to me. Have you just finished high school? Or maybe you find yourself in a dead-end career. Come visit us at ITI. I didn't really give it a second thought, and at halftime I got up and fixed myself a sandwich. Upon returning to my living room, a familiar voice greeted me from my TV. Have you just finished high school? Maybe you find yourself in a dead-end career. Come visit us at ITI. The following morning, I got up for work, was in my truck heading to meet Dad on a job. I turned on my radio and the first thing I heard was, have you just finished high school? At this point, I was sure of it. I was being haunted by Joe Martin. 2 days later, my parents and I went to ITI and I enrolled in the Information Technology Computer Networking program. My first class was Success Skills, where we would be taught how to prepare a resume and successfully perform in an interview. As the rest of the students jumbled in through the doors and into their seats, I couldn't believe who walked in the room and addressed the class. It was him, the legend himself, Mr. Joe Martin. I was beside myself. I couldn't believe that this guy from the TV commercials was actually an active member of the faculty. Mr. Joe was there every day, working tirelessly and diligently with all 20 or so of us in the class to make sure we understood what was necessary for our resumes and our interview responses so that we had an edge when we applied for jobs. Joe Martin truly epitomized the spirit of ITI. His goal was not to make sure that we could fill out a resume or give a textbook answer to an interview question. He wanted to ensure that we understood the whys and the hows of resume creation and interview techniques so that he could empower us to develop our own strategies once we were out of the classroom and in the real world. After completing my first term, actually my first day of class, I was thoroughly convinced that I'd come to the right place. I'm sure most of you have heard the proverb, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. In my time at ITI, it became very clear to me that the faculty and staff had made this proverb their creed, and their goal was truly to prepare me to be successful in my career. Guys like Hal Gould would voluntarily give up their off time to stay a little late and ensure we fully comprehended the monster that was C# programming. Eric Robinson was more than happy to stay late one afternoon to help a student build his own personal PC and use that as a learning experience. Take a good look around at this faculty and staff. There's truly amazing people here. They have truly bought into the purpose of this program. I can name multiple occasions where I've come back to ITI to get feedback from my former instructors on issues that I may have run into in the workplace. Being a member of the ITI family is something that I've found to be invaluable. After 2 years at ITI, I found myself in the completely opposite place as I was when I started school. I've been working full-time at a job that I obtained through the ITI Career Services Department, which, by the way, they are amazing. I'll get back to them in just a minute. Anyway, there I was at a job that I loved, in the field which I loved, and I was now highly motivated to dive into my career and keep pushing ahead and growing. I was 3 months out from graduation. I had just been promoted to a regional support technician at an educational computer distributor with a great salary and a company that agreed to pick up the tab on my cell phone bill every month. The Career Services Department scheduled a job fair for all the seniors approaching graduation, and suddenly I had more job offers coming in with better benefits. Among those were 2 companies which I had dreamt about a position with for 2 years, Turner Industries Group and a local IT staffing firm. After multiple interviews with each, I went with my gut and decided to accept an entry-level position on the help desk at Turner Industries Group. One of the biggest lessons I learned occurred in my first year with Turner. I was now 21 years old, making a decent salary in an entry-level position at the largest industrial maintenance contractor in the United States. I had endless opportunities for growth, and I was determined that I was going to move up as fast as possible. A position opened up, and I knew I wasn't completely qualified for it. However, I was ambitious and overconfident, and it was time for my first lesson in humility. Being a hot-headed 21-year-old, I was disappointed when I was told I'd been passed over for the job, and I made sure I expressed this to my boss very clearly. The least he could do is acknowledge my abilities with a small raise. I was told very promptly that I was an entry-level employee that had been given a huge opportunity and that I had a lot of maturing to do before I was ready for a promotion. What a reality check that was. I met up with one of my former instructors at ITI to get his opinion. I was hoping to get sympathy. Instead, what I got was another reality check. "Are you crazy?" he said. "These people took a flyer on you only a couple months ago, and now you're acting like an entitled child. But don't beat yourself up," he told me. "Just make sure that you learn from this. The worst thing you can do is make a mistake and not learn something from it." I had a new refreshing outlook on my career thanks to Thad Gwenmeyer's guidance. I'm not sure he even knows how beneficial that conversation was for me. I would not allow myself to become negative or feel sorry for myself, and I would learn from every mistake moving forward. No more asking for things I thought I was entitled to or throwing a tantrum like I was Kanye West when things didn't go my way. Suddenly, more and more opportunities started opening up for me. I found myself getting promoted 3 times in 3 years, and soon I was responsible for the IT support of an entire building. After 2 years in that role, I was promoted to manage the department where I was originally hired in. I stopped looking at my managers as bosses, and I started looking at them as coaches and mentors, sponging up as much information as I possibly could, pushing myself to ensure my team hit its metrics while performing a balancing act to ensure their morale stayed high. The tables had turned, and I was now responsible for hiring on new employees. What better place to reach out to than the Career Services Department at my alma mater? I called, and instantly I was sent a stack of resumes for prospective students. I was able to leverage a pipeline of what I knew would be well-trained and educated professionals thanks to my relationship with ITI. After 7 years with Turner Industries Group, I made the bittersweet decision to leave and join my dad to open a new contracting firm with him. In 2014, we started Linxwiler Electric, a business that leveraged both of our areas of study at ITI. Now as business owners, we make it a point to stay in close contact with the Career Services Department and try to employ prospective students and graduates. ITI has provided me with so much more than just a degree. They have provided me with an abundance of resources for the foreseeable future of my career. It has taught me life lessons and patience and humility. It has taught me how to motivate myself, how to push myself to work harder, and complete goals that are on the edge of my comfort zone. It has kept me in contact with mentors and taught me to use every mistake I encounter as a learning experience. ITI does not stop teaching, it does not stop guiding, it does not stop coaching, and it does not stop encouraging you. It's taught me that if I work like no one else today, I might be able to live like nobody else tomorrow. Class of 2015, I'm ecstatic to welcome you into the ITI family, and I'm certain that President Martin and the rest of the staff feel the same way. Thank you for your hard work and your perseverance, and thank you for being the reason that ITI is so great. Thank you again for giving me the privilege of celebrating such a special night with all of you. This is truly one of the greatest honors I've ever had. Congratulations to you, and I wish you nothing but the best.
Well, Blake, I'm glad all that money I'm spending on ESPN worked once, but we want to thank you for coming and encouraging our graduates, and I hope you enjoyed that. He's right where you were, and we thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Little gift.
See if I can gracefully pick up this binder and get this microphone back to my level. This is the last time that I will have all of you together, and I can't resist encouraging those of you whom are not employed in your field of study to not give up. Our